Hello and welcome to Tomlin's Harmonica Podcast. This is the place to be for a variety of harmonica-related content, including interviews, lessons, and discussions about all aspects of harmonica playing. This podcast is brought to you by the Tomlin Harmonica School, where I provide a step-by-step curriculum for beginners to advanced intermediate players, as well as personalised feedback and all the resources you need to get better at blues harmonica. To find out more, go to tomlinharmonicaschool.com. So today we're going to be meeting one of the students in the school, but before you meet Lise, let's have a listen to some of her playing. Okay, so Lise, thank you so much for joining me today. So let's get started just by finding out a little bit about you and where you're from. And you're going to have to be quite detailed because we've got people listening from all over the world.
Yes, thank you, Tomlin. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm really grateful. I'm Lise from Cardiff, originally in Wales, in the UK. So I live in Bristol now, on the edge of the Severn Estuary, just outside Bristol. But I'm a UK girl, as in a Welsh girl, in my original background. So I hope that's okay.
Of course that's okay. And I love Bristol. Bristol's one of my favourite places. Definitely looking forward to being able to come back down at some point.
Good, you're welcome here.
Brilliant. So why did you want to start playing harmonica in the first place?
Well, it goes back a long way, really. I've always loved the sound of the harmonica. The first record I ever bought was The Specials, Message to You, Rudy. And there's a nice little harmonica riff at the start of that. So I've always been keen. I like the sound of it. But when I was about 45, I think, my husband bought me a harmonica for my birthday, and I'm ashamed to say it, but it sat in my bedside drawer for 8 years. And I didn't think about it. It was on a life list to play it one day when I was older. But it's just that sound, the portability of it. It looks beautiful, doesn't it, as an instrument? Mm. And when I got it as a present, I was delighted. But it was just on a list as a life list thing to do one day. And at 53 years old, I finally took it out of the bedside drawer. So, the other thing was my dad, who's 81, always said that he regretted not playing an instrument. So I think that's planted a seed in my mind. That was always at the back of my mind that, he tried a few things like guitar and what have you, but he says it's one of his big regrets. And I just don't want to have any regrets like that. So it was always the harmonica, and it was time to pick it up when I was just a little bit older, I guess.
That's brilliant. That's really cool. I've got a similar reasoning for being a musician. My father always wanted to be a musician, and he was actually trained as an opera singer. But then, life got in the way, and he never actually did it as a profession, and he was always very sad about that. So, it's important not to allow those regrets to take hold.
Exactly.
So you started a little bit later, and how long have you been playing now?
It's been just over a year. So I started in May, and COVID, I guess, was a lot to do with that. Lockdown, having time to play. I just finished a contract in work, so I decided, I was going to retire, and I had lots of free time. So, it's just been over a year. I started with another teacher, a good teacher with online courses, but it wasn't really interactive enough for me. So I think I moved to your 4-week package to try that out, sort of, at the side of these other lessons. And then I thought, this is for me, this is absolutely what I need. A lot of interaction, a lot of feedback available, lots of people in the school that I can talk to. So it just felt right. So I've been practicing daily since then.
Yeah, I can't believe you've only been playing that long. You're doing so well. It's awesome.
Well, it's down to you. Thank you.
No, it's really down to you and your hard work, which is fabulous. So what's been the most challenging thing so far?
It's a good question. I think for me, it's just controlling my mind, really. I kind of am really obsessed with harmonica now. I have been for the whole year. And I know I can't do everything and learn everything quickly. So I've just got to control myself and pace myself. I'm finding that difficult. I really want to know everything. I wonder what overblows are. I wonder when I'm going to learn more about tone and hand movement on the harp. I know I don't know all that yet. But I could become quite frustrated if I let myself, because I just want to immerse myself in the whole thing. So I love the structure of the lessons and how that I can understand why we learn, a certain bend note at a time. We're not rushed to do it all. It would just be too much. But I've got to control my own I could get frustrated because I just want to know everything now. And I'm immersing myself in the music and all the right things to do to sort of have different ways of learning and taking in more about the harmonica. But I just know I mustn't let myself get too carried away and just stay on the path I'm on.
Yeah, you've almost got to be quite blinkered, haven't you? And just ignore all the other stuff and just focus on what you're focusing on. But it's good that you're enthusiastic about exploring all of it. That's going to carry you a really long way. I was wondering, were you a blues fan before you started learning harmonica, or is that something quite recent?
I'd probably say not really, not to the extent, the stuff I'm listening to now is amazing. I've always liked a lot of ska music, like the Specials, and reggae music, funk and disco back in the day. So I kind of think it fits in, blues. It's just another genre along those lines. So it fits in. And my husband likes a lot of Neil Young, Bruce Springsteen, Dylan, all the classic ones. So I have heard an awful lot of harmonica in that music, and I've loved it and tried to copy it. And now I hear harmonica in everything that he gets me to listen to. It's everywhere, isn't it? So that's been a revelation as well. But now I'm listening to all the original blues players of the past, and I'm enjoying it. It's great. But no, not before. It wasn't a thing I was really into.
That's cool. So who are the players that you're getting excited about?
Well, there's all the classics, and there's Sonny Boy Williams 1 and 2, Little Walter, is it? Little Sonny. I really like Little Sonny's music, actually. So I'm into that. Everything that the guys on Facebook say, try this out, listen to this, I'm just tuning into it. But there's a lot out there. There's a lot to take in. But I've just sort of started an Amazon Music file of blues music, and there's already about 250 tunes in there, so everything.
Brilliant. That's very cool.
It's different things inspire me. I'm into, and always have liked, canned heat, so I'm going through a bit of an Alan Wilson moment. He's my hero right now. I'm listening to absolutely everything he's done again. I'm reading a book about him, so the whole canned heat vibe, I think, is helping my harmonica playing. So inspiration's coming from everywhere, I guess.
Nice. Oh, well, you can't go wrong with canned heat. They're brilliant. So what have you enjoyed the most so far about learning harmonica? Oh,
lots of things. I love the lessons. So
you don't have to say that.
well done you. No, I absolutely do. The structure, I don't know, it works well for my learning behaviors, my learning style. So I really like it. I'm trying to slow down a bit on the lessons, but I play all of them dozens of times and go back again. I like that, the accessibility of the lessons. I often go back and replay stuff. So I'm enjoying that immensely. I'm enjoying all the community aspects, the forum, your forum, the wider Facebook arena, people that help me. There's just loads of guys out there and girls that will encourage my harmonica playing. So I can post, if I'm brave enough, things on Facebook that I post to you as my submissions. And just getting feedback from great players is fantastic. I've been lucky enough to get feedback from Ronnie Shellist, quite detailed feedback actually, on one of his 1, 2, 3 shuffles that I was practicing. So to me, that's highly enjoyable, and I guess the pivotal thing was getting from you Student of the Week about a few months ago. I actually made my husband call me Student of the Week for a week. If he wanted to just pick it, he had to call me Student of the Week. So, they're the things that I've really enjoyed. I've been very happy about. I like to know
Awesome.
I'm getting somewhere really with this, because in isolation, I think you don't really know how well you're doing. So I really enjoy it when I get the feedback. And I've got a buddy called Michel from the Netherlands, who's in your school. He tracks along with me at this. We seem to have just happened to be moving at the same pace through beginners and advanced beginners. So we will, sometimes he's my arch nemesis because he submits something better than me, but we even passed advanced beginners on the same day. So we often message each other to encourage each other, and that's all helpful as well. I think
Nice.
a buddy in the school is useful. So the whole community thing is great. The lessons are great. And just being able to play something just feels fantastic. I'm very proud of myself when I lock down a tune. When I did my first improv, I find improv really difficult. But when I start and I'm rubbish and I can't fill in the gaps that you leave for the improv space, and I'm just thinking, what do I do? And then slowly I build, in that space, and it just feels fantastic. It's a real buzz, really.
Awesome.
Is.
Awesome. All right. So now this is a really difficult question, and you have to be absolutely honest with me. What's your practice routine looking like?
Oh, great. Okay, well, I play every day, so that's fantastic, isn't it? Just being able to do that. I'm aware other people are working. When I had my career, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I'm practicing every day. I tend to practice in the afternoon. I'm a project manager at career-wise, so I'm quite organised in sorting out my day anyway. I don't have issues with that. But I tend to do all my critical things in the morning, everything I've got to get done. And I sit down to play a harmonica usually about 2:00 every day. And I do my scales, not because I want to, but I feel like you're a bit of a disciplinarian on practicing the scales. And you don't put it, you obviously put it at the start of every phase of the lessons for a reason. So I do practice my scales, mainly because I just think you're going to be knowing if I don't.
Oh, I know.
But recently I've understood why. I've understood the movement of me improvising means I have to really understand those scales. So all of a sudden the pennies dropped after being kind of reluctant to do that. After scales, I do a lesson or two from your classes, and I often go back and revisit previous lessons. I tend to do a few together and then go back and do them again. And then I try and mix that. If I've done that for about an hour, I try and then have some fun with a YouTube, piece that I want to get into at the end of it, and practice and hopefully bring in that learning into the fun parts at the end. So that kind of is about an hour, 2 hours a day. I'm lucky. Nice. I can spend that time doing it. Yeah. But also tips from other people means that I have harmonicas all over the house, in my car and in my camper van. So I'm often, on a journey somewhere, and if I'm sat around somewhere waiting, I will pick up my harp then. I play in the bath all the time. The acoustics are brilliant. Nice. So I'm playing everywhere, really. My husband's been very patient because he's literally hearing it all the time.
Well, it's his fault. He bought you a harmonica. So.
Yeah, he did. And I meant to say he actually bought me a Special 20, which was great because when I took the harmonica out of the drawer, I didn't know anything about harmonicas and thought it might be a toy and asked him if it was a real one. But it was a Special 20 in C. So that was a good one to start with. And they're now my favourites.
Brilliant. So what are your goals on the instrument? Where are you going with it?
Yeah, people always think you want to be in a band, but I don't really want to be in a band. I can't see me being sort of the old lady at the side of the stage playing harmonica one day, but you never know. But I'm very much into my camper vanning holidays with my husband. So really, I always envisage me sitting around a campfire playing
Nice.
eventually. Yeah, and just jamming away to music. I was going to tell you today that I don't really want to play melodies and songs, and I think like Amazing Grace and first position stuff, but you corrected, or you didn't correct, you mentioned at the school on Wednesday that it was important for us to learn the melodies because we'd have a better tool bag of licks to play and understand the structure. So that was another penny dropping moment where I thought, oh, I can't tell Tomlin, I don't really want to bother learning songs, but I just want to riff over tunes, that Neil Young Heart of Gold stuff and all that. I know it kind of is cliched in the harmonica world, but I love that. And, Promised Lands, I just want to be able to do that dancing, playing movement over backing tracks and get very bluesy and be a bit canned heat and enjoy my playing like that. But I could see it being around a campfire setting or in the garden or wherever, just as a woman who pulls out a harmonica and just starts jamming to something.
That's very cool.
That's about it, really. I'm also very interested in just the theory of it. And I find it fascinating just learning about what this very small instrument can do. So I'm fascinated by the journey of the things you're going to be teaching us.
Nice. Oh, well, that's brilliant. So what advice would you have for someone who was just starting out?
Well, I'd say just do it. Get on with it now. I know I wouldn't have been able to start earlier when I had my career, but I do think if anybody's thinking about it, absolutely do it and get on with it. But then I'd say enjoy the journey, don't go too fast. I know you told me a few times about pacing myself because I have just thundered on forwards and wanted to know everything. So while I'd be telling them to get on with it, I'd also be telling them to, take it slow and enjoy the journey. I think getting an understanding of what harmonicas you like is a good thing to do. I've tried a lot. I've got at least a dozen harmonicas in 1 year. I don't know whether that's too many, but I think it's quite important because I really like my special 20s now. I really like my rocket amps. I really dislike a certain brand, and I've got a Suzuki ProMaster that I do like. But it's very different. It's just for smooth, silky songs. So I think that has been quite interesting. So I would not want a beginner to be using the wrong harmonica. I think it might make a real difference to them.
Oh, definitely.
And then I would just say that for beginners, just don't be put off if you, can't get single notes or can't get your bends for a while. We've all been there. I find it amazing that I can do one of your lessons and just be really terrible at the beginning, and then over 3 days or so I can come back to it and be quite brilliant if I say so myself. And it's amazing. You really build something. And the best advice you gave me was to break down a line of music into very small chunks, smaller, even break it up, riffs into parts of riffs. And I think that's the best advice I've got, because you can really build it into something amazing from just looking at it and thinking, I'm not going to be able to do this at all. It's fascinating stuff. So awesome. Yes, newbies, get on with it.
Great advice. And but before we wrap up, do you have any questions for me?
Yes. I'm already worrying. I'm a bit of a worrier. I'm worried about the end of this lovely relationship, and I want to know where the advanced class is, because I can see ahead of me there's advanced intermediate and what have you. But then I think, oh my gosh, we're going to run out of roads. And I need the lessons. I want them to go on. So is there any plan for advanced, super advanced level of school?
Well, yes, there is definitely a plan for that. At that stage, it's probably not going to be me teaching because I'm not an advanced player.
Really?
Yeah, but you've probably noticed that I've started bringing in some pretty heavyweight players like Philip and Todd. So the plan will be to be getting people like that more involved in the curriculum for the more advanced stuff. But I'm going to be building out a new advanced intermediate level this year, which is going to be quite different to what we've got. And I'm quite ambivalent about ever calling any level advanced in the school. Like I might just make the advanced intermediate level open-ended. Because anyone who calls themselves advanced, I'm expecting pretty heavy duty playing. You know, I'm expecting Jason Ritchie or or Philip Jers or
exactly. I understand.
But yeah, there's always going to be more stuff. And now I'm starting to settle into fatherhood. I can see time to actually put together more material, because that's what I really love doing. So it's not something that I don't want to do. It's something that I will be making a lot of time to create new material. So I don't think you'll run out of stuff to learn.
Good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. It's been an absolute delight speaking to you in person. And
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's been a delight for me too. Thank you, Tomlin.
My pleasure. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of my harmonica podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your podcast service of choice. And if you're ready to take your harmonica playing to the next level, then you should check out my online harmonica school over at tomlinharmonicaschool.com. Happy harping!